my husband's twin, came to our wedding, and I went home with him. My name is Eva. I am 25 years old. I grew up in a small town. It is a quiet place. The houses are small. The trees are very tall and green. I know everyone in my town. Everyone knows me. Life is slow here. Life is simple. I thought my life was planned. I thought I knew my future. But I was wrong. Sometimes life surprises you. Let me tell you my story. When I was a little girl, I had two best friends. Their names were Mark and Leo. They were brothers. They were twin brothers. They looked exactly the same. They both had dark brown hair. They both had bright blue eyes. They were the same height, but they were very different inside. Mark was quiet. He was a good boy. He always listened to his parents. He did his homework. He liked to read books. He liked to stay at home. Mark was safe. He was calm. Leo was not quiet. Leo was loud. He was wild. He loved to run. He loved to climb trees. He was always laughing. He got into trouble a lot, but he had a good heart. He always protected me. If another child was mean to me, Leo would stand in front of me. He was my hero. We grew up together. We played in the park every day. We shared our food. We shared our secrets. I loved them both. But I loved them in different ways. When we went to high school, things changed. We were teenagers now. Mark studied hard. He wanted to go to a good university. He wanted a good job. He wanted a nice house. Leo did not care about school. He liked music. He learned to play the guitar. He liked to sing. He talked about traveling the world. He wanted to see big cities. He wanted to see the ocean. I liked to listen to Leo. His eyes shined when he talked about his dreams. When he looked at me, my stomach felt funny. Have you ever felt that? It is a strange feeling. It is a warm feeling. I did not understand it then. I was young. I did not know about love. One day, school ended. We were 18 years old. It was summer. The sun was hot. We sat by the river. Leo had a big bag. "I am leaving," Leo said. I looked at him. I was shocked. "Where are you going?" I asked. "I am going to the big city," he said. "I want to play my music. I want to live my life." My heart felt heavy, very heavy. I wanted to cry. "Will you come back?" I asked. He looked at me. He looked sad for a moment. Then he smiled. "Maybe," he said. "Be good, Eva." He hugged me. He hugged Mark. Then he walked away. He did not look back. I cried that night. I cried a lot. I felt like I lost a part of myself. I missed his laugh. I missed his bright eyes. After Leo left, Mark and I spent more time together. Mark was always there. If I was sad, Mark brought me ice cream. If I needed help, Mark helped me. He got a job at a bank in our town. He wore a suit every day. He was a good man, a very good man. 2 years passed. Then 3 years. We did not hear from Leo. He did not call. He did not write letters. It was like he disappeared. I tried not to think about him. I tried to focus on my life. One evening, Mark took me to a nice restaurant. It was my 23rd birthday. The food was good. The music was quiet. Mark looked nervous. His hands were shaking. He reached into his pocket. He took out a small box. He opened the box. There was a ring inside. It was a beautiful ring. It had a small diamond. It shined in the light. "Eva," Mark said. His voice was soft. "You are my best friend. You are a wonderful woman. Will you marry me?" I looked at the ring. I looked at Mark. He smiled at me. He loved me. I knew that. I cared about him. He was safe. He was kind. My parents loved him. His parents loved me. It made sense. It was the easy choice. It was the right choice. "Yes," I said, "I will marry you." Mark smiled a big smile. He put the ring on my finger. He kissed my hand. I smiled too. But deep inside, something was quiet. My heart did not beat fast. I did not feel a fire, I thought. This is how it is. Real life is not a movie. Real life is calm. We started to plan the wedding. Planning a wedding is hard work. It takes a long time. We planned for 1 year. I bought a white dress. It was very long. It had beautiful lace. When I put it on, my mother cried. She said I looked like an angel. I looked in the mirror. I looked pretty, but I felt strange. I felt like I was wearing a costume. I did not say anything. I smiled. I wanted everyone to be happy. We picked the food. We picked the music. We picked the flowers. I chose white roses. They were simple and clean. Mark did everything I asked. He agreed with everything. He was so easy to please. Sometimes at night, I could not sleep. I lay in my bed. I looked at the ceiling. I thought about the future. I saw a house. I saw children. I saw Mark. It was a good picture. So why did I feel scared? Why did I feel trapped? I told myself it was normal. Everyone feels scared before they get married. That is what people say. I believed them. The day of the wedding arrived. I woke up very early. The sun was not up yet. The sky was dark blue. I sat by my window. I watched the sun come up. The birds began to sing. Today was the day. I was going to be a wife. My mother and sister came to my room. They brought coffee. They brought food. I could not eat. My stomach was nervous. They helped me with my hair. They helped me with my makeup. They helped me put on my white dress. I looked in the mirror again. I looked very different. I looked like a bride. I took a deep breath. "You can do this, Eva," I whispered to myself. We drove to the church. The church was old and beautiful. It was filled with people. All our family was there. All our friends were there. There were many colorful dresses. There were many smiling faces. The music started. It was slow and sweet. My father took my arm. We walked down the aisle. I looked straight ahead. I saw Mark. Mark stood at the end of the aisle. He wore a black suit. He looked very handsome. He smiled when he saw me. He looked very happy. I walked to him. My father gave him my hand. Mark's hand was warm. We stood in front of the priest. The priest spoke. He talked about love. He talked about forever. I listened to his words, but they felt far away. "Do you take this man to be your husband?" the priest asked. I paused, only for 1 second. "I do," I said. "Do you take this woman to be your wife?" he asked Mark. "I do," Mark said quickly. "I now pronounce you husband and wife," the priest said. "You may kiss the bride." Mark leaned in. He kissed me. Everyone in the church clapped their hands. People cheered. People smiled. We walked back down the aisle together. We were married. There was no going back now. We left the church. We went to a big hall for the party. The hall was beautiful. There were lights everywhere. There were big tables with white tablecloths. There was a large dance floor. There was a tall wedding cake. It had 3 layers. We sat at the main table. People came to talk to us. They said congratulations. They wished us a happy life. I smiled a lot. My face hurt from smiling. I drank a glass of water. I tried to relax. Then it was time for the first dance. The man with the microphone called our names. "Please welcome the new husband and wife to the dance floor," he said. Everyone clapped again. Mark stood up. He offered me his hand. I took it. We walked to the middle of the dance floor. The lights went down. A slow song started to play. Mark put his arms around me. I put my hands on his shoulders. We moved slowly. We stepped side to side. "You look beautiful today, Eva," Mark said softly. "Thank you, Mark," I said. "You look handsome." We danced. It was nice. It was comfortable. I rested my head on his chest. I listened to his heart. It beat a slow, steady rhythm. I closed my eyes. I told myself to be thankful. I had a good man. I had a good life. The song ended. People clapped. We smiled and bowed. Other people came to the dance floor. The music got faster. Everyone started to dance and have fun. Mark went to talk to his friends. I went to get a drink. I was thirsty. I stood by the table with the drinks. I watched the people dance. Suddenly, the music stopped. The big wooden doors of the hall opened. They made a loud sound. Everyone turned to look. The room went very quiet. You could hear a pin drop. A man walked into the room. He was tall. He wore a dark blue suit. He had dark brown hair. He had bright blue eyes. I dropped my cup. It hit the floor. Water spilled everywhere. I did not care. I could not breathe. It was Leo. He looked like Mark. Of course, he did. They were twins. But he looked different too. His face was a little thinner. His skin was darker from the sun. He looked tired. He looked older. But his eyes were the same. They were wild and bright. People started to whisper, "Is that Leo? Where has he been? Why is he here now?" I heard their voices, but I did not listen. I only looked at him. Mark saw him too. Mark walked quickly across the room. He walked to the door. Mark looked surprised. He looked angry for a moment. Then his face softened. It was his brother. Mark stood in front of Leo. They looked at each other. Then Mark hugged him. Leo hugged him back. They patted each other on the back. The people in the room relaxed. The music started again. It was low music. People went back to eating and talking. But I could not move. My feet felt like heavy stones. Leo stopped hugging Mark. He looked around the room. Then he looked at me. Our eyes met. The room felt completely empty. It felt like only Leo and I were there. He started to walk towards me. He walked slowly. Every step he took, my heart beat faster. Thump, thump, thump. I could not look away. He stopped in front of me. He looked at my white dress. He looked at my hair. He looked into my eyes. "Hello, Eva," he said. His voice was deep. It was rough. It was the most beautiful sound I had ever heard. "Hello, Leo," I whispered. My voice was shaking. "You came." "I came," he said. "I had to come." Mark walked over to us. He smiled. "Leo, I am glad you are here, but you are very late. You missed the church." "I know," Leo said. He did not look at Mark. He kept looking at me. "I am sorry. My car broke down on the road." "Well, you are here now," Mark said. He patted Leo's shoulder. "I am going to get a drink. I will be right back." Mark walked away. I was alone with Leo. I felt very hot. I felt a little dizzy. "You look," Leo started to say. He stopped. He took a breath. "You look beautiful, Eva, like a dream." "Thank you," I said. I looked down at the floor. I did not know what to say. I was angry. I was happy. I was confused. "Where were you, Leo? For 5 years. Why didn't you call?" "I was a fool," he said softly. "I was trying to find something. I traveled a lot. I played music. I lived in small rooms. I lived on buses. I was looking for happiness." "Did you find it?" I asked. I looked up at him. "No," he said, "because my happiness was always here. In this town, with you." My breath caught in my throat. I felt a sharp pain in my chest. "Leo, don't," I said. "Don't say that. Not today. It is too late." "I know," he said. His eyes looked very sad. "I know it is too late. You belong to Mark now. He is a good man. Better than me." Just then, the fast music stopped. The DJ put on a slow song. It was a romantic song. Leo looked at the dance floor. Then he looked at me. He held out his hand. "Please, Eva," he said. "Just one song, one dance. For old times. For the boy who always loved you." I looked at his hand. His fingers were long. I remembered those hands holding mine when we were small. I looked at Mark. Mark was at the bar. He was talking and laughing with his friends. He was not looking at us. My mind said, "No, you are a married woman. It is wrong." But my heart said, "Yes, just one dance." I slowly lifted my hand. I placed it in Leo's hand. His skin was rough, but warm. A shock went up my arm. He pulled me gently to the dance floor. We started to dance. It was very different from dancing with Mark. With Mark, I felt safe. With Leo, I felt alive. I felt a fire. Every part of my body woke up. He held me close, closer than Mark did. I could smell him. He smelled like wind and rain. He smelled like memories. I put my hand on his chest. His heart was beating very fast, just like mine. We did not speak. We just moved to the music. The room faded away. The lights faded away. I forgot about the white dress. I forgot about the wedding cake. I forgot about the ring on my finger. I looked up at his face. His eyes were closed. He looked like he was in pain. "Leo," I whispered. He opened his eyes. He looked down at me. He lowered his head. His face was very close to mine. I could feel his breath on my cheek. He put his lips near my ear. He whispered, "I've loved you since we were kids, Eva," he said. His voice was broken. I never stopped, not for one single day. Tears filled my eyes. They were hot tears. They ran down my cheeks. "Why did you leave?" I cried softly. "Why did you leave me?" "I was young," he whispered back. "I was stupid. I thought I needed the world. I did not know that you were my world. When I heard you were marrying Mark, I felt like I was dying. I drove for 2 days without sleeping to get here. I wanted to stop the wedding, but I was too late. The song was almost over. The music played its final notes. "I love you, Eva," he said. "I will always love you." The song ended. He stopped moving. He slowly let go of my hand. He took a step back. He looked at me one last time. His eyes were full of love and deep sorrow. Then he turned around. He walked off the dance floor. He did not talk to anyone. He walked straight to the big wooden doors. He pushed them open. He walked out into the dark night. The doors closed behind him. He was gone again. I stood in the middle of the dance floor. I was completely still. People were talking around me. Music started playing again. Fast, happy music. But I felt like I was freezing. Mark came back. He had 2 drinks in his hands. He smiled. "Where did Leo go?" Mark asked. He handed me a glass. I took the glass. My hand was shaking so much that the drink spilled on the floor. He left," I said. My voice sounded hollow. "Left?" Mark frowned. "Already? That is just like Leo. Always running away. Never staying in one place." Mark laughed a little. "Well, let him run. We have a party to enjoy." Mark took my hand. He tried to pull me to our table, but I did not move. "Eva," Mark asked. He looked at me. He saw my tears. "Are you okay? Why are you crying?" I looked at Mark. I looked at his kind face. He was a good man. He did not deserve this. He did not deserve a wife who loved someone else. In that moment, everything became clear. It was like waking up from a long sleep. I married Mark because it was easy, because everyone expected it. I did not want to disappoint my parents. I did not want to hurt Mark. I was a coward. I lived my life to please other people. But when I danced with Leo, I felt the truth. I felt real love. Real love is not just quiet and safe. Real love is a fire. It makes you feel alive. I could not live a lie. If I stayed with Mark, I would think about Leo every single day for the rest of my life. That was not fair to me, and it was deeply unfair to Mark. I am sorry, Mark, I whispered. Sorry for what, honey? He asked. He looked confused. I can't do this, I said. My voice was stronger now. I can't be your wife. Mark dropped his glass. It shattered on the floor. People turned to look at us. What are you saying, Eva? Mark's face turned pale. You are tired. It has been a long day. Let's sit down. No, I said. I stepped back. I am not tired. I am finally awake. I love you, Mark. You are my dear friend. But I am not in love with you. I never was. It was a mistake. I am so sorry. Eva, please. People are watching, Mark whispered. His eyes were full of fear. I don't care, I said. And it was true. I did not care what the people in the town would say. I did not care about the gossip. I only cared about the truth. I reached down to my hand. I took hold of the beautiful diamond ring. I pulled it off my finger. I held it out to Mark. I am so sorry, I said again. I put the ring in his hand. I turned around. I grabbed the sides of my big, heavy white dress. I lifted the skirt so I could run. Eva, stop. I heard my mother shout from a table. Eva, come back, Mark cried out. I did not stop. I ran. I ran across the hall. I pushed the big wooden doors open. I ran out into the cool night air. It was dark outside. There were stars in the sky. The moon was full and bright. I looked at my watch. It was a few minutes before midnight. I looked around the parking lot. There were many cars. I searched frantically. Then I saw it. An old, dusty black car parked under a street lamp. Leo was standing next to the car. He had his keys in his hand. He was looking at the ground. He looked defeated. Leo, I shouted. He jumped. He dropped his keys. He looked up. When he saw me running towards him in my white dress, his eyes grew wide. I ran as fast as I could. The dress was heavy. My shoes were hard to run in. I kicked my shoes off. I ran barefoot on the cold pavement. I reached him. I did not stop. I crashed into his chest. He caught me. He wrapped his strong arms tightly around me. He buried his face in my hair. He was shaking. I was shaking too. You came, he whispered into my hair. You actually came. I love you, I said, crying into his shirt. I love you. I have always loved you. Don't leave me again. Please, never leave me again. Never, he promised. He kissed my forehead. He kissed my cheeks. Then he kissed my lips. It was a kiss full of love, full of tears, and full of promises. We pulled away. He looked at me. Are you sure, Eva? If you leave with me now, everything will change. People will be angry. It will not be easy. I don't want easy, I said. I looked deep into his blue eyes. I want you. He smiled. It was the brightest smile I had ever seen. He picked up his keys from the ground. He opened the passenger door of his old car for me. I got in. I pulled my big white dress inside the car. It filled the whole seat. Leo closed the door. He walked around to the driver's side. He got in. He put the key in the ignition. He turned it. The engine roared to life. I looked at the clock on the dashboard. It was exactly 12:00. It was midnight. He put the car in gear. We drove out of the parking lot. As we drove away, I looked out the window. I saw the lights of the wedding hall. I knew my parents were probably crying. I knew Mark was heartbroken. I felt a deep pain in my chest for the hurt I caused. It is terrible to hurt people you care about. I will carry that guilt with me. But as the hall disappeared behind us, and we drove onto the dark highway, the pain slowly mixed with something else. Freedom, hope, joy. I looked at Leo. He was watching the road. His hand reached over and took my hand. He squeezed my fingers. I squeezed back. We drove through the night. We left our small town far behind. We drove towards the big city. We drove towards a new life. It has been 3 years since that night. A lot has happened. The first year was very hard. My parents did not speak to me for 6 months. The whole town talked about the bride who ran away with the brother. It was a huge story. People said terrible things about me. They said I was cruel. Mark was very angry and very sad. He refused to talk to Leo. He refused to talk to me. That was the hardest part. Breaking a good man's heart is a heavy burden. But time is a great healer. Time passes and feelings change. Last year, Mark met a woman. Her name is Clara. She is a teacher. She is very kind and very funny. I heard they are very happy together. She loves him exactly as he is. She gives him the love I could never give him. I am so glad for him. I truly am. My parents slowly forgave me. They visited us in the city last Christmas. It was strange at first, but we hugged and we cried. They just wanted me to be happy. And I am happy. I am happier than I ever thought possible. Leo and I live in a small apartment in the big city. It is not quiet here. It is very loud. There are sirens. There are cars. There are people everywhere. We don't have much money. Leo plays his guitar in cafes. He teaches music to kids. I work in a bookstore. We work hard. We are tired at the end of the day. Life is not perfect. Sometimes we argue. Sometimes we worry about paying the rent. We don't have a big house. We don't have a quiet, easy life. But every morning, I wake up next to Leo. I look at his face. I listen to his slow breathing. I feel his warm arm around me. And I know, deep in my soul, that I am exactly where I am supposed to be. When he plays his guitar and sings in the evening, I sit and listen. His voice still makes my heart beat fast. The fire is still there. It will always be there. We got married last year. We did not have a big wedding. We did not have a big white dress or a big cake. We went to a small office in the city, just the two of us. I wore a simple blue dress. He wore a clean shirt. We held hands. We promised to love each other forever. And this time, when I said, I do, my whole heart meant it. I learned a very big lesson in my life. Sometimes, we do things because we think we have to. We do things to please our family. We do things to please our friends. We choose the easy path because we are afraid. We are afraid of what people will say. We are afraid of making a mistake. But you only have one life. It is your life. You have to live it for yourself. You cannot ignore your heart. Your heart knows the truth. It always knows. If you try to quiet your heart, it will only shout louder. Leaving my wedding was the hardest thing I ever did. It was scary. It was painful. It was messy. But it was also the best thing I ever did. It saved my life. It saved Mark's life too, so he could find real love. If you are listening to this, I want to tell you something important. Maybe you are scared today. Maybe you have a hard choice to make. Maybe you feel stuck in a life that does not feel right. Listen to me. It is okay to be scared. Change is always scary. It is okay if people get mad at you. You cannot control other people's feelings. You can only control your own truth. Be brave. Listen to that quiet voice inside you. Follow your heart, even if it leads you into the dark night. Even if you have to run barefoot in a heavy dress. You deserve to be truly happy. You deserve a love that feels like fire. You deserve a life that is real. You can do this too. You have the strength inside you. Take a deep breath, be honest with yourself, and take the step. My husband's twin came to our wedding, and I went home with him. That is my story. It is a crazy story, but it is my beautiful, messy, wonderful life. Thank you for listening. Keep going, keep hoping, and always, always follow your heart.